Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to do a very interesting exercise wherein we are going to create 100 servers in less than a minute. But before we go into the details of it, let's understand few things. So when you are working in a big enterprise, then there are multiple requirements. Your manager will come in and ask you to create multiple EC2 machines. Or he may say that these are new set of users who have joined the company and let's create these users within AWS. Also, if I want to create multiple S3 buckets. So like that, a lot of requirements will come in on a day-to-day basis. And we need to perform these activities efficiently and without any errors. So what are the different tools that you can use to perform these operations? So the first very standard way is to use the UI console. So this is a browser based UI or a user interface which everybody has been using to perform operations on your AWS account. The second option is to use a CLI. CLI as in command line interface. So as the name says, you have to run some commands to perform operations on your account. For example, I want to see what are the EC2 instances in my account, then I will have to run this command AWS EC2 describe instances. The last option is to use something called as a SDK, a software development library. So this is mostly for developers or programmers who can use the AWS provided libraries using which we can perform operations on the account. So if you look at this code, then we this is written in Python and it is using the AWS Boto library to get some data of the EC2 instances. So for this particular exercise of creating 100 EC2 instances, we are going to use the AWS command line interface. Now for using the AWS CLI, we have got couple of options. The first option is we can download the AWS CLI on our local machine. So this process is a little complicated where you will need to download and install on your local machine. And after the installation is done, then you will need to configure some password so that you can connect to your AWS account. The other option is pretty simple where we can use the AWS provided Cloud Shell. So using the Cloud Shell, we can connect and perform operations on our AWS account. So for using this Cloud Shell, you don't need to do any kind of installation. It is a browser-based shell that provides you command line access to your AWS resources. The AWS CLI, Python, Node.js, and all these kind of tools are automatically installed in this Cloud Shell. And also, you don't need to do any kind of configuration for connecting to your AWS account. Everything is built in into your Cloud Shell, and it makes our life really simple. So we will open this and we will close this window. And this is the interface of the Cloud Shell. Here you can run any kind of a Unix command like ls or pwd or whatever command you can run in the AWS Cloud Shell. Now, for creating our 100 EC2 instances, I have created a shell script. So this shell script is present on my GitHub repository. And if you look at this script, then it is basically doing three important things. I will come to the first section here where we have a for loop, and this loop is going to run 100 times, and in each iteration it is going to create and run a EC2 instance. Once this is done, we are going to run another command, AWS EC2 wait, and it will wait for all the instances to come in the running state. Once this is done, then it will fetch the IP addresses of all of the machines using the describe instances command, and then it is going to terminate all of the EC2 instances using the AWS EC2 terminate instance command. Now you have understood the script. Let's also understand the cost impact of performing this exercise. So if you are in the free tier of your AWS account, which means that it has been less than 12 months of creating your account, then AWS provides you 750 hours, free hours per month. So for this exercise, we will be creating 100 EC2 instances, and let's say each instance is consuming 5 minutes. So we will be consuming total 500 minutes, which is equals to 9 hours of EC2 usage. So you need to be sure that you have not consumed your 750 hours of EC2 usage. If you are not sure, then I will strongly recommend that you only create one or two EC2 instances via this script. So, from my perspective, I am sure that I have not used the entire 750 hours. So, I will now go into my Cloud Shell and we will start the process of creating the EC2 instance. So I will come here into my AWS console and I will click on this Cloud Shell button and you will see this kind of a shell. Now we need, for creating the instances, we need the script. But my script is present in my GitHub repository. So how we will copy this script from GitHub repository to Cloud Shell? So for that, we are going to use a Linux command called as wget. Wget means get from the web. And this is the URL of my Git repo script link. So I will copy this entire command and I will also put it in the description section of this video. And I will paste it in my Cloud Shell window. I will say allow paste and paste this. And press enter and this will download a file to your Cloud Shell instance. Now you can run the ls command to see that the file has actually downloaded. To run this file script, type sh space CRE and you can press tab and then press enter. The script will ask you to define how many instances that you want to create. I will say 100. Then it will give you a warning that this activity can incur cost. So please be careful. Type yes. And now the instance creation process will start. So you will see a message here creating 100 instances and one by one it is the for loop is executing and it is creating instances. It will take a little while for all of the 100 instances to be created. But if we now go to the instances tab and if we refresh the page, then you will see that instances will start popping up. So as of now, there are 11 instances in pending state. It will take at least 5 or so minutes for the entire process of creating and terminating instances to complete. Meanwhile, if you have not subscribed to this channel, then please go ahead and subscribe it. And it takes a lot of effort and time to create such kind of videos. So if you like this video, then definitely click on the like button. Let me share a few more things till the time this activity is happening. So for this exercise, we have taken EC2 as a sample, but that doesn't mean that the AWS CLI only supports EC2 service. Via the AWS CLI, you can perform automated operation on any AWS service. For example, if you want to create 20 S3 buckets, then there is a command called as AWS S3 create bucket. Like that, there are multiple commands for each service. If I go to Google and if I search for AWS CLI reference, then you can get a list of commands for each service. So I will select this AWS CLI command reference, and you will see that this will specify how to use the AWS command. So the general syntax is you specify AWS, then you give the service on which you want to perform a operation. So we were using EC2, so we have specified AWS EC2, then some sub command. Like that, if you scroll down, you will see a list of available services on which you can perform the operations. So you can see here, this is a big list. If I scroll down below and if I just go to the EC2 section, then for EC2 itself, there are multiple sub commands. Like these are all of the commands which are available for the EC2 service. The one that we have been using is the run instance command. If I search for run instance, so this command we have used to create and run the instance. Then, if you want to stop a instance or instances, then you have to use this command. Let's go back to our instances page and refresh this page. And hopefully, we should be seeing more instances getting created. So there are 32 instances, and if you see, they are shutting down also. Let's go back to the Cloud Shell, and you will see that it created 100 instances. Now it was waiting for the instances to be in running state, and after that, it got the public IP address of all of the instances, and then it started terminating those instances. Yeah. So this is the power of the AWS CLI, and this is the power of scripting. So I think that's all for this video. We will not wait for the entire operation to complete, but I will definitely recommend that once the script is complete, then you go back to your instances tab and ensure that all the instances were actually terminated. Because if there is some problem with the script, we don't want any pending instances. Okay. So I will wait for some time and then I will ensure that all of the resources are actually terminated, because we have created so many resources. We need to ensure that all of them have actually been terminated. Thank you very much, guys.